everyone. My name is Victoria Radnothy with Pickleball.com. We're going to be tier ranking all of the Major League Pickleball uniforms we have seen throughout the 2026 season. So for our top tier today, we have Annalie Waters' Franklin purse, the pickleball bedazzled bag that she wore to the ESPY Awards. The top tier of these uniforms label is going to be ALW's Franklin purse. Our next tier is Best Dressed. I write the Best Dressed list for the PPA Tour and Pickleball.com. These looks are Best Dressed worthy. The next tier down is the Fives. The New Jersey Fives did a collab with Raisin Bran, and they created these specialty jerseys called the Fives. Next one down, we have What Not to Wear. Remember the old TLC TV show called What Not to Wear? These would fall into that category of like, this is not good. We can do better. And at the bottom, we have SpongeBob. Look, I have nothing against SpongeBob. I thought the look was so playful, but like it's not high fashion and it's not pretty and it's not cute. It's funny, but funny doesn't mean fashionable. The first uniform we have comes from the Atlanta Bouncers. I'm gonna have to put it in What Not to Wear because Atlanta Peach State color is cute, but the thing that really bothers me about this is that they just say Stella Artois instead of like the Atlanta Bouncers. The fact that both the men's and women's uniforms are the same, it just doesn't do it for me. The Bay Area Breakers black uniforms just don't excite me. I can't really read anything, which is better than some of the other logos where they're too bright and too loud and I can't even read what the team is anyway. For the black version, I'm gonna have to put it in the Fives. It's not terrible. At least it's not atrocious, and some of these are atrocious. They have a blue version, which I think is better because I like the electric blue color. I'm gonna put the black version in What Not to Wear because it's boring. At least the bright royal blue really pops beautifully on the pickleball court. So I'm gonna give the blue version, I'm gonna give that to the Fives. That's gonna go up a notch. Oh, the next team we have is the Brooklyn Pickleball team. My main problem is that they could be pulling really cool inspiration from their home city. And the fact that these uniforms are only in black and white, it's so boring. They look like every other team on MLP. We could do so much better. So those are also going to live in What Not to Wear. I'm going to put the white version in SpongeBob because it's cruel. Now we have a positive team to talk about. The California Black Bears, they're doing something interesting with their uniforms, and I love it. I think the black and pink pinstripe uniform is so cute. The black pinstripes definitely go for Best Dressed for me. I've always liked that look. I've always liked that uniform. I think it's so cute. And then the pink version of their uniforms, I applaud them for going for something different. Like, Best Dressed, baby, of course. Honestly, the styling of the pink with all white, I really like. That might be AL Dub's Franklin purse. Oh boy, now we have the Hogs. The Carolina Hogs have the same problem that a lot of the other MLP teams have, where they are only wearing black, white, and red. So their uniforms aren't that bad. I'm gonna say it's in What Not to Wear because at least it's not covered in logos that are extremely distracting. But is it great? No. I think the all black is cooler just because it has that like sleek factor. The bright red is just a lot on the eyes, but it's like that with all of these uniforms that are bright red. So it's fine. I'm gonna say it's What Not to Wear though. Maybe the all black version would go into the Fives. It's pretty good. It could be worse. Next, we have the Chicago Slice. This one's a tough one because I kind of like the stars. They're at least trying something and they're doing something interesting. I kind of wish they brought the design elements that they put into the merch and instead brought that energy in with their uniforms because their uniforms are okay. The pizza slice version, I'm gonna put that in What Not to Wear. At least, again, like the others, it's not covered in logos, so we'll give it that. Okay, next we have the worst dressed MLP team. The Columbus Sliders. The Columbus Sliders uniform is SpongeBob. Their uniforms are so bad. They're so ugly. And the biggest crime is that we are putting Paris Todd and Hurricane Tyra Black, two of the best dressed pro pickleball women, we're putting them in the worst uniforms in MLP? I understand. We need sponsorships, but the insane amount of coverage that these logos have on every single square inch of Paris Todd's body, including the back, is crazy. The arrow pointing to her butt is so weird. Like, who approved this? It's so bad. And I'm sorry, Paris Todd is way too fashionable and way too chic to be wearing that. And the bright red is so atrocious. It's unfortunate because the California Black Bears are usually playing on grandstand. Compare how cool they look to the Columbus Sliders, who's one of the top teams, and they look that bad. If there's a tier under SpongeBob, I would put it there. The Dallas Flash has been an interesting team in general to follow this MLP season. I would put the Dallas Flash in with the Fibes. Their uniforms are pretty good, but I appreciate that they're trying something. The Flash is at least experimenting and doing something different than just showing up with a t-shirt that has their logo on it. They have this cool pickleball design on the side, and I think the placement of it is really interesting. It's a little different, and it has like the lightning bolt through it. I think that's kind of fun. I really like the electric blue version of it with the white. I think the white and blue color combo is really beautiful, and it looks great on the whole team. So I'm gonna put it in the Fibes. I think the white version would go into the best dressed. I think their blue has kind of become a very signature color for their brand, and I think that's good. I think that's important. They did have another version of it that was just white. That isn't as exciting to me. I don't hate it, but I would put it in what not to wear. Let's talk about the New Jersey Fives. I really like that bright red for the New Jersey Fives because it makes sense. Like for the Sliders, it made no sense to me. But the Fives, it's kind of become their signature color. It looks good. I appreciate their minimal logos. Yeah, they have quite a few, but it's not crazy. I'd put them in the best dressed because I think they could be doing something more exciting, and I hope they do, especially with, top players like Georgia Johnson and Annalie Waters. Like we should have them in much more fashionable attire, but I certainly do not hate what they're doing now. I think it's clean, and even the all-white versions with the red accent, it looks good. Compared to some of the other ones, we're just gonna celebrate it. All right, the Florida Smash. I don't hate the Florida Smashes look. The green is kind of a cool green, so I think it works. It is a little confusing that it says Orlando Health on their uniforms, even though it's not the Orlando Squeeze, it's the Florida Smash. But the green is kind of cool. I'd put it in the Fibes. Unlike all the other ones, they at least have a color and they're rocking with it and they're wearing it. Their white version is not as strong to me, so I would put it in what not to wear, but it's not terrible. It's not a crime. I like that they have green on the collar. I think that's cute. The Florida Smash is a little forgettable. Ooh, next we have the LA Mad Drops. The LA Mad Drops debuted new uniforms, so I'm only going to be talking about those ones because those are the most relevant. I really like these uniforms. These would definitely go up into AL Dub's Franklin purse. That beautiful blue color is just so pretty. Their logo's clean. They're not covered in a bunch of different sponsorship logos. They're all very small, very minimal, so it's not super distracting. The green version is also going to go into AL Dub's Franklin purse. I love it. It's so different compared to all the other teams. It's a win. They're above best dressed. Like they're winning the gold in my opinion. The Las Vegas Night Owls, kind of forgettable. I like it in white. I think it would go in with the Fibes because they have like the owl logo as like a shadow. I would love to see them develop that idea more in the off season and see if they can come up with like a different design that leans into what they're already working with, because I think it's really cool. Now the Miami Pickleball Club is an interesting team. I'd put it in the Fibes because it's a good neutral. It's kind of basic. They also have a lot of logos, so if we could get rid of some of those logos, then I'd feel better about it. I really like the striped version that they've done. I would go so far as to argue that the striped version of this fit would go in best dressed. If we could eliminate the big logo right in the middle, that would be amazing. But for both the women and the men, the stripes just add a little bit more fun and visual interest. I think it's fun. Ooh, the squeeze. Okay, I appreciate that the squeeze has really gone for it with the bright orange since day one. As soon as you turn on Pickleball TV, you know when the squeeze is playing because you see that bright orange. Similarly to the Fives, but even more so. So I'm going to applaud the Orlando Squeeze for brand recognition. That's a win. I don't like the white version. Is it too harsh to put it in what not to wear? But they could be doing better. I'm gonna put it in what not to wear. I liked it with the navy though. The navy and the orange I think is a cool color combo. Again, I want to see that idea developed and just make something better. The bright orange versions, like the t-shirts, what not to wear feels so aggressive. But the bright orange is a win because compared to all the other ones we see. But they're not best dressed. And they do have a lot of logos, don't they? Yeah, Advent Health. So, because of that dang logo, I'm gonna have to put it in what not to wear. Next, I have the Palm Beach Royals, our new debut MLP team. They've been a spicy team from day one. I really like their green uniforms. I think I'm going to put them in with the fives, even though they also have logos. Green is just a better color than orange, right? Like everyone looks better in that beautiful emerald green. Like the whole team looks amazing in that color, so that's a win. You know what I appreciate as well with the Palm Beach Royals is that their styling is always very clean. Like they all wear all white socks, shoes, white hat. Like they're very aligned on their styling, and that's important to me, and that really does make a better outfit when the whole team is aligned. So I'm gonna bump them up to best dressed. Oh, now I have the Pheonix Flames. Bad. All black is boring. At least they are not covered in logos, but they're not doing anything interesting. It's so forgettable. I literally forget that the Pheonix Flames exist. And that's not because of the players, it's because of their outfits. Also, I'll put the red version of their uniform in the fives because the Pheonix Flames having that bright red also makes sense because they're like a literal flame, right? Similarly to the Night Owls, they have like this flame shadow going on, and I think that's kind of cool. The SoCal Heart Eights. So again, I would put them in what not to wear. They're very boring. They just have the logo. It's fine. Deeply forgettable. That's all I have to say. Ooh, the St. Louis Shock. I'm going to put the St. Louis Shock also in what not to wear. Mainly because I hate that it says the O2 Sports Insurance. Like, that is so ugly. Why are we putting Hayden Patriquin, Anna Bright, Gabe Tardio, Kate Fahey in that? They're just all black. They're boring. I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, the other version where it's like this red, white, and blue with the like lightning bolt through the middle, I'm going to put that in the fives. Do I think it's great? No. Do I think it's decent? Yeah, so we're gonna celebrate that. I think it's okay, but it's definitely far more interesting than their other uniforms, so I'll give them that. I feel like with all of these teams that are in the fives, what not to wear, and SpongeBob, with just a little bit of workshopping, they could be really cool and could reflect the cities that they are based out of in a much more positive way. The Texas Ranchers, I'm gonna put in the fives as well. Kind of indifferent about them, but I'm more positive than negative. I think because last year they had the same uniforms. The red doesn't make any sense to me. Actually, the red version, I'm gonna put in what not to wear. Okay, I'm gonna put the blue version in best dressed because I love navy. Our final team is the Utah Black Diamonds. I actually really thought the green shorts and white version of their uniform was really cool and clean, so I'm gonna put that in the fives. The army green is just a pretty color. I think of all the teams that wear all black, I think the Utah Black Diamonds can get away with it because it's literally in their name. And I like their logo. It's really clean and cool. I'll put them in the fives. So at top tier, the best uniforms that we saw in MLP, in my opinion, this season was the LA Mad Drops and the California Black Bears. The Mad Drops, that color scheme is just so beautiful. And same with the California Black Bears. The Black Bears are bringing a little bit more vibrancy to the court, and I love a pinstripe, so those uniforms are just a win. For best dressed, we have the Texas Ranchers, Palm Beach Royals, the Miami Pickleball Club, a version of the Dallas Flash, and the Fives. I think this is a solid lineup. Everyone in best dressed, minimal logos. They all look super clean, very sophisticated. This is a win. The Fives is where we see a little bit more experimentation. Honestly, I might put the St. Louis Shock down one again. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. The more I look at Gabe standing there in that lightning bolt, it just looks so bad. So in the fives, we have the Utah Black Diamonds, the Las Vegas Night Owls, Hogs. Feels right. And then the what not to wear, we have some real toughies. This is when things get real rough. We have the Atlanta Bouncers, SoCal Heart Eights, the Red Texas Ranchers, Orlando Squeeze, Pheonix Flames, Hogs. Yeah, they're just not really trying that hard, it looks like, and they don't look good. So SpongeBob just has the Columbus Sliders because they are the worst by far. The other ones, at least their crimes are too many logos, but the Columbus Sliders is terrible. My goal with this video is not to criticize, it is to challenge and encourage these teams. I would just love to show that it really does matter. The fashion game is important. So that wraps up the tier ranking. If you have any other fashion hot takes, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time, and go dress up and play some pickleball. Bye!